Hello, hello. How is everyone doing today? Oh, I should. Hello, everyone. I'm live. One day, I will actually automate this. What one far off day? Okay, so yeah. Welcome to more work on tournaments. I hope you all had a great weekend. I certainly did. Very busy. Lots of stuff to do. And then finish it off with doing a lovely release. So we've got 0.7.6 out with all sorts of exciting changes, like better research. All the harmonies have been changed. Hopefully it's a bit more reliable, consistent now. So, a little behind the scenes here. The way it used to work is one of the harmonies would have an authored thing, an authored upgrade, and then harmonies that didn't have an authored upgrade would randomly select from one of the non-exclusive harmonies authored elsewhere. That was just causing problems, so all of those random pickup ones now just have this generic upgrades the harmony effect directly. So now it just improves the thing, and also it means that if people are selecting a unique harmony, it won't change under their feet because it's no longer going to be picking up a different one than it should have been doing. But yeah, anyway, a bunch of different stuff. Yeah, we did a big pass. Ras, you submitted nearly 80 tickets. If you ever look inside the roadmap, the credits, you have absolutely flown up the charts. Where are you? Oh yeah, I fixed this one as well for the next version. Gone up to 173 from 100-ish. So, well done. It was certainly terrifying opening up my issues list and seeing 2 extra pages of issues appear. Yep. But we're all good now. So, what are we doing today? Well, in the background, work has been continuing on tournaments. So, let's start off with a little show of where we are. So here's my lovely body forging test character here. And they're in a tournament. As you can see here, we have ourselves our lovely tournament progress. Starting off with a round of 64. We have all of our individual matchups. We also have actual simulation. So it will actually track the health that a character ended the fight on. As you can see, some of these are a bit close. And then it will boil down to they'll be able to heal in between fights, and also have the option to select an upgrade if they didn't heal. This then, standard goes all the way down. We then have a lovely foreground crowd who comment and say things. Should be exciting. Lots of little bits and pieces. We have the announcer who's here. He will say more useful things, hopefully a bit of hype. We can track the boost. So, for example, this is the boost I'd selected. 10% damage boost. So, you can select these buffs to continue through the tournament. You got your rank here. And, let's hop into a fight. And I will just quickly turn on Combat Immortality. And you see, we have the crowd in combat too. They're loitering nicely. They will comment on what goes on. So there we go. I'm firing off. I'm just running this fungal build because I'm immortal. I can just run forever. And then it should comment on the progress. Look at that speedy combat. So I've been doing some combat optimization in the background too. The current version is about 60% faster than the current released version, but there is a a thread I'm doing, which may take it up to being 15 times faster than the released version, which would be pretty sweet. And then you can run all of your insane builds and hopefully have no lag. But we'll see. So we won our battle. We can see it. The announcer shouted something awesome. And we're going to return back to the tournament. And it's going to then animate the rest of it. Now we can just skip it if we like, but we want to watch the animations. And then we get to choose. In this case, we have just standard 10% to something. I'm going to always take damage boost. All the enemies will always take damage boost. You can see here, enemies that are doing quite well will have quite high stuff. And eventually there'll be the standings here. So let's just go and do another fight. Eventually you will die. There we go. Popped him like a balloon. What do you mean? Have what be based on? Sounds like a lot of work, yo. Yeah, I mean, at the moment, I just put in stuff that I think will be applicable to everyone. As you can see here, we have our rankings are starting to populate from the people who've just been knocked out. So, these characters here. Now, ads? What do you mean ads? What? I haven't... One second. Ads. It's turned off. Ads is literally off. Are you getting ads? Huh. Well, they're not paying me for them, so that's kind of annoying. I'll have a look into that after the stream, because I've seen no ad funds coming in. Right. Anyway, so where we are, we have the top 8 get these lovely standings here. We will. The goal of the stream is to attempt to make this more fun by getting more rewards. So we'll just run to the end, and then we'll step back and have a look at what I want to do today. And then after this, we'll figure out what is going on with this ad nonsense. So these are also characters that are using builds from players. So if I'm not mistaken, the one we face at the end should be a quite overpowered one. But maybe not. Maybe they got knocked out early. Oh no, it's this same person. Here we go. You see, this is a scraped build from a player. For some reason, in Mugen Opening, they have 3 artifacts, including the Calamity Shard. And what we got here? What is this one? This is the Refined Dagger as well. Calamity Shard and some sort of Shadow Sickness one. A Condensation Shadow Sickness one. Anyway, a Dirty Cheetah. They also have the Refined Talisman. Yes, very... Well, nothing can overcome my ultimate technique. Immortality. But yeah, so there will be much more difficult tournaments because you'll be playing player builds that have been scraped. that they should be randomized a bit. At the moment, this one is so much stronger than all the others that it does tend to make it to the end most often. So in the final, you'll be facing this person the most. Yeah, so by the way, this build, we only scrape builds that do the tournaments at the expected realm. So if you realm break, we aren't going to scrape your build because it's not going to be interesting once it's converted to an NPC. So it's only if you do a Meridian Opening tournament at Meridian Opening that will scrape it. Yep, they have everything. They have masteries, enhancements, equipment with all of its stuff, quality, harmonies, whatnot, items used, shards, things like that. Well, only for these tournaments. These are the school tournaments. But if you go to the Linkshu ones, and that's another thing we'll do. We will make unrestricted tournaments in Shenhenda that you'll be able to go to. Those you can just play neutral if you so desire. And then they'll be scraped. So let's beat up this dirty cheater. And here we go, the finale. We get our final standings. Yep, every item, they use exactly what you used when you played. Is there something wrong with top right? I mean, where else would you put it? It's the person who made it the rightmost. It's the one closest to where you finished up. See? It makes sense. Oh yeah, I guess we could put it on 3 rows with that. It's neat, you know. It's a nice square. Everything fits neatly together. But yeah, maybe we can put number 1 on its own thing, and then 2 underneath it, and then the others. So 1 on the top, and then 2 and 3 underneath that, and then the others underneath that, or something. Potentially. We will also be using these standing things to indicate the rewards you get for these ranks. At least that's my plan. So it'd be like a section underneath here that would have like the items you'd get like lined up. So it should be clear that's what the rewards are. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, look, we got the announcer. I'm waving my arms. I need like a proper VTuber model so you can see my flailing. We could see the announcer here giving you your hyping you up, and we will also be trying to move some of the realm breaking dialogue to be like pop-ups here. The only bit of voice stuff in the game is just me shouting how amazing Yang Ma stands alone, champion of the festival. Listen to this crowd. Something along those lines, you know. But anyway, what are we actually here for? We are here to build ourselves some items. So here is the giant design document of ideas. This part here is the bit that we want to look at. And these are the stuff that currently doesn't really exist. So for the quarterfinals, if you make it to the quarterfinals, so top 8, you will get your money back. Fantastic. And maybe some fruits of the school or crystals. You know, some generic reward. For the semi-final, you'll get more spirit stones returned, so you'll make money. I don't know, maybe twice as much, and then 3 times as much, 4 times as much. But for the semi-finals as well, we want to have some unique items you can get from doing it. A recipe that you can only get from the tournament for a same realm item, something like that, conceptually. Or maybe just give the item directly. Then for the next one, unique stat pills. So you can get some stats from it. And this will also be, like as everything else, it will be shared across all the tournaments, and it will be something you can do in the non-school specific tournament. So you'll only be locked out of it if you straight up ignore it until you hit pillar creation, maybe something along those lines. And then the other part will be some sort of fancy clothing. We want some like festival clothing, ideally. That'd be really cool. Something that makes it with a bit of lore behind it. And then the champion would be, I think, would be cool to have a unique manual that has a unique technique in it, and maybe unlocks a companion that you can bring along to combat. Something along those lines. That is my current set of concepts. So we will build up from the bottom and make the items and then put them in the UI somewhere. So yeah, it'll probably be a case of when you start a tournament, you'll get a pop-up with like the breakdown of the various placement rewards, and then they'll also be visible on the that like placement panel, and also in the bottom corner of the screen. Let me just start another tournament so I can show you what I'm talking about. So we'd probably want them to be here, and maybe here as well, so you can see next to your rank what the current rewards you'll get are. However, we'll see. So, with that in mind, the first things we want is this part here. Now, there's a couple of different things around this. We do want a way of acquiring this recipe if you don't get it through the tournament. I don't really like, as you all well know, I don't like missable stuff where it's something that you didn't know you could miss. Going up a realm and then not being able to do a tournament and missing out on a cool piece of gear as a result would suck. There needs to be a way of either anytime we just have the same piece of equipment but just higher realm versions of it, up to the point where you hit, I think it is pillar creation that we run out of tournaments, but maybe we can add a pillar creation tournament where you could get them. And then after that, maybe it's just added to a shop somewhere. That could be something we do. Well, let's make some cool stuff first, and then we can think about how to make it more useful, less missable later. There's no mechanical way to do that, because what would you do? Like, require players to make a whole new set of styles? Just stop them being able to use their last end techniques? Also, you have to unpick all of their actual realm upgrades. Like, are you going to... We have to sort of backdate and figure out what upgrades they applied as part of, say, pillar creation, and remove those. There's just so many different things that are involved in the whole limiting your realm that I don't think is practical to have that be like a feature. And then if you have that, the next question will be, can I then actually undo my realms? If I can suppress it, why can't I just redo my stuff? And yeah. Well, we haven't snapshotted their stats. So, historically, that data does not exist. So it would essentially break all existing characters, which is a no-go. But even then, it would just be annoying, to have to manage. And it opens up a bunch of questions that we've been quite explicit that aren't going to happen, which is, we are not going to allow you to undo your breakthroughs. If you want that, get a mod. But we won't be doing it ourselves. But let Nope, that's not the button I want. I'm going to keep clicking that. It's always in the wrong place. Let's add every item. And let's think of what some cool stuff might be. Cool rewards. So maybe winning... Maybe you get a piece of... Maybe get talisman and then a piece of clothing. So talisman for not semi-finalists. Clothing for runner-up. And then a manual for champion. Maybe. And the talisman can be something very closely linked to the school. Maybe we can sort of make a lower realm version of the Life Flourishing school-specific talismans, because they're always pretty cool. Like this one. The manual would be a unique technique. And speaking of, actually, that's something I'd like to do. I'd like to make the manuals in the Sect Manual Pavilion all have a unique technique you can only get from that manual. So they're actually worth buying. It does mean I need to make a ton more techniques, and that's a lot of work, but it would be cool. It would be very cool. And I do love giving myself even more work to do. Grin, thank you for volunteering to make new techniques. I don't think you've made any new techniques yet. Well, not core school ones anyway. The ones you made for the expeditions are cool, so it'd be fun. Honest, trust me, you need to make like 30 more. They'd be school. So we're talking about festival ones here, or sorry, the manuals would be for the school festivals. They'd be those school techniques. And similar for the sect ones, they'd again be school techniques because they're the school-specific manuals. So, we could have one that scales off Mist. I do like Mist in Cloud. The Heavenly Sword, no. It'd be good to have some dual school stuff at that point in the game. Yeah, I say dual school manuals, and let the Nine Mountain have the single school manuals. The pure manuals. There's a bit of variety in what people can find. I mean, with Celestial Cloud, it's just going to be some sort of like unveil the sky or unveil the skies hackery, isn't it? Some cheese with that. So, for the cloud, maybe we could have a talisman that just gives you power per mist you have. Really nice and simple. It's kind of applicable throughout the game. We can just have caps that increase for each realm, so it's artificially limited to lower realms, but it makes the higher realm ones just more useful. Yeah, that would be fascinating to have at a lower realm. Some sort of a blood talisman that gives you a scaling blood reservoir builder. Something like when you take damage from blood corruption, gain N blood reservoir per damage you take, and then you can do some absolutely insane stuff with it. Fun stuff, not insane stuff. I don't think it'd be that powerful, but it would be cool. And tell people, hey, look, it's fine to just have yourself take damage from blood. That'd be awesome. What else do we have? Some sort of fist one. What would Fist want? Some sort of damage thing, or a flow builder, because I know as Fist I've done a flow builder. Maybe we just have like a simple version of the... Is it the Surefoot Talisman? The one for Fist that just gives you constant flow. This one? Wingstep Talisman. Yeah, we just have something that just gives you a little bit of flow every round. Nice and simple. Always useful for Fist. Weapon. I should write these down rather than just talking. Okay. Reward. Talismans. Cloud. Power per mist. Max. Stacks per realm. Fist. Low per round. Good question, that one. What would feel more impactful, getting a recipe or getting an item? Like, as a tournament reward. Or maybe you get the item, but you also get the recipe if you win. So if you become the champion, you will get the recipe too. But if you only make it to, say, the quarterfinals or whatever, you get just the item. Yeah, the recipe is always better eventually, mechanically. But as a reward, you're getting... I know it feels more interesting to get an item than to get a recipe as a reward, because a recipe is always like, yes, this could be better, but I don't have it right now. I need to then go and find the ingredients, and I need to go and craft it. I then can use the item. It just looks less impactful. But we can just give both, and have them be different tiers. So wait, what we have? We had Fist, flow per round, blood, blood reservoir, Yep. BC damage. Now I need Celestial, Weapon, and Blossom. So, Celestial. What do we have? Tell me, Celestial. What kind of stuff do you already have? Some sort of rotation-based one? Something that gives you a bonus when you rotate? Do you actually have any talismans that do that? I don't think we do. So maybe a rotation talisman. Like this one, every time you convert between sunlight and moonlight. I mean, we could have something. Do we not have one where it gives us some defense when we rotate? Or is that like clothing? Not defense, sorry. Like protection or something. Duality sphere, yeah. Well, this is similar in concept, but maybe it is better. Maybe we do something like the duality sphere, but for Celestial. Yeah, Celestial's pretty good. It's got some great buffs. The main issue is there's a bit of anti-synergy, or sorry, there's scaling issues with rotation in the later realms, which I will one day fix. It's on my enormous and ever-growing list. Something that builds as you rotate, yes. Maybe something that every time you rotate, you get a very small buff. So it's like a long-term scaler that is about rotation. Maybe gives you power, like. Yeah, why not? Why not? We already have a power scaler. Let's give another power scaler. Celestial rotation gives stacking power. Wait. Wait on what? Well, you're really narrowing it down. That one ability in Fist. You again not narrowing it down whatsoever. That covers quite a few different things. I think that one would be quite. Oh, so wait, anytime you rotate, you gain X power and it falls off? Is that what you mean? It doesn't really give you any scaling, though, which is kind of what Celestial would really like out of a talisman. It just gives you more burst, and Celestial doesn't really do burst. I mean, it would be pretty good if you wanted to then combine it with another school, but then that, Now, as Mr. Weapon Lover, the foremost weapon expert, what kind of talisman would you like for weapon? Whilst you think on that, I'm going to think on Blossom. So, what would Blossom like? Blossom would like to go away and stop annoying me. Maybe we just give it like a rot talisman. I don't think Blossom has. Wait, I'm searching Celestial. That's why there's no Blossom thing here. Blossom would like something that gives rot. Maybe doesn't really have much rot synergy, especially in the early game. Something that grows your fungals faster. But then again, that is pushing even more people to play fungal. And Blossom's already like. And maybe that's fine. I mean, fungal is cool. I absolutely love the concept and the art, and I think it feels awesome to have a long scaler. Maybe a talisman that makes your fungals grow would be neat. Wait, when does Fatal Flora pop up? Because remember, this is a talisman you'll be able to get from body forging. So it's only core formation that the Fatal Flora appears. So probably not a good idea at this stage. I mean, actually, in body forging, having rot build isn't fantastic, but it's not the end of the world here. It doesn't need to be a blanket reward. It just needs to be something that would be good for a playstyle that's not too niche. So, for example, for weapon, something that just enhances dancing weapons. You know, maybe it gives 1 temper per round to your dancing weapons. That would be useful to 90% of weapon players. Yeah, maybe a talisman that gives you for the 1 rot around, then 2 rots around, and 3 rots around. You know, essentially 1 rot around per realm. Would it be good? Maybe it needs to start higher. Maybe it needs to be like, wait, the Eternal Garden gives you... Not Eternal Garden. Enduring Fertilization gives you 4 around. And that's a droplet technique. So a Talisman should probably be not stronger than that. I mean, we could have something that just directly grows the fungals, but then that's completely useless in body forging, which would be not ideal. Let's just have a give rot. It'd be fine. It'd be fine. Oh, or maybe rot per blossom type that's currently active, and then it kind of scales. But it doesn't scale nicely because you can only have really one of those. Screw it. We'll just have it give rot. Blossom. Rot. Round per round. Just simple. Now, weapon. Have a little look at weapon techniques. So body forging has no puppets, so puppets is out. Unless you want to make a puppet technique for body forging as the thing you can get in a manual from Sect. And then you can have a puppet one. Every time a puppet... Yeah, I don't think we want ones that scale off puppets dying, because that just feels bad. We want to encourage people to repair their puppets. Woo! I am excited. More techniques. So, part of that, and I'm gonna feature creep the request, is there needs to be an even amount of manuals for every school throughout the game. Which means that for the higher realms, where there's only manuals in the sect, we need to make the manuals for the other schools probably be in the auction, or as, in the markets of Shenhenda. And then put techniques in those as well. So no school misses out. They all have the same number of techniques, just spread across the world. So, I think a simple talisman that will just be useful forever will be a talisman that just gives temper to your dancing weapons every round. Simple. No need to think too hard on that one. Temper weapons each round. Yep, we could definitely hide some manuals in behind a exalted reward. Though the only places that we haven't got exalted rewards already defined, already planned out for, is the Jade Serpent and the Heavenly Sword. Those, I think, are the only places that are missing it at the moment. How dare you not be giving your full attention to the stream? Yeah, so I'll send you some tasks, I guess, at some point. But yeah, I don't think we necessarily need it to be... or maybe it consumes shards, yeah. Consume shards to temper weapons each round. Yeah, there we go, just... That way you can't just cheese it by turning on a weapon, having this talisman, and then doing something else for a bunch, and then coming back and feeding it like one shard. Okay, so we have some ideas for reward talismans. So that's the first part. Then we go give base form on what, top 4 placement? Maybe we give base form on top 8 placement. Nah. Top 4. Yeah, feel free. Look, I'm more than happy to sit down and write the romance events at some point. They're fun to do. But there is a small group of people who like them. There is a much bigger group of people who like new techniques. So that is obviously going to be a lot more popular. We will invest our time in the thing, in what the people want, which is even more techniques. Yeah, it's fine. No pressure. More manuals. That's what we need, and probably better manuals because people keep going, I can't play. No, like that was Jauhwa's theme, right? We're gonna have different dynamics, different romances for the different characters. They should hopefully all feel unique. Now people are still complaining they use a manual and it doesn't work good. I mean, unless you're playing Fist or Blossom, the manuals aren't great. Like, they're designed not to be fantastic. They're designed to be thematic. But we probably want some actually good manuals in, I don't know, like places that isn't the sect store, because why would the Nine Mountain sect care about storing like the ultimate weapon technique? That's not their jam. So we'll put that somewhere else. But we could probably even ask if some community members are okay with having their builds turned into a manual. I'm sure someone would be happy to have theirs officially in there, maybe with a little bit of in-game lore for what's there. The main issue with manuals, with their current implementation, is you can't dictate gear and you can't dictate masteries. And some builds require masteries to work, or specific gear to work. So if the builds we want to represent require those, we'll probably have to have some way of saying you need to have this set of masteries on these on the techniques, otherwise this won't work, or some sort of like cost that automatically applies on the mastery. So it says like you need 30 crystals of this type and a full bar of key, and you can then swap over to this particular manual style. Yeah, there's some absolutely insane stuff that people have made. Just like every battle will take you an entire month. On winning it all. Okay, so put the detour to one side. We have an item for the top 4 placement. We have maybe the top 8 will be Spirit Stones and maybe a crystal above your realm. Entry fee, crystal above realm, and 1 fruit above realm. And it's upgraded to 2 crystal / fruit above realm. Talisman. Runner up. 3 above. Do we give clothing as well? So you can essentially kit yourself out with a full set of equipment. Yeah, let's do that. Festival clothing. 5 above. Recipes for talisman and clothing. And manual. Wait, manual. Maybe. Oh, do we want a manual? Maybe we give it a unique. I don't. A technique. A technique of that school, maybe? And the question is, how would you then get it later? Yeah, I don't want the manual here, because a manual generally exists to help people understand how to use stuff. And if you've already won the tournament at that school, you probably are pretty proficient with it. So you don't want to use a manual. And so it'd be a waste of time to make it. Maybe and a unique technique. Here's me committing to another 24 techniques at least. Maybe another 30 techniques. As if we didn't have enough already. Let's put a question mark after that one. Let's leave that one as a maybe. Okay, so festival clothing. I think the festival clothing should as a whole be quite simple. Maybe it's just something that gives boost to the school. Nothing complex. Have a little look at what the clothing for the schools look like. So in Ridden Open, there's absolutely no school-specific stuff anyway, or body forging. Good lord, look how pitiful this list is for the unique gear you can wear. And then as we scroll up, it gets longer and longer. This is going to be an absolute monster by the time it gets to the end of the game. Just, I don't know, 100 different pieces of equipment for every single type. What have I done? The constant feature creep. Okay, so let's go forward to the first place where we do get school-specific stuff, which is here. In Key Condensation, where you just get stuff that gives boost. I mean, boost is solid. You're never going to complain about having some boost for your school. Maybe that will be fine. Having unique effects, though, is exciting. And feels like something that a school, like a festival reward equipment should have. Now we could obviously go through these and just essentially make all the clothing just to resource builders. Like the regalias do. So they're essentially lower realm regalias. And the first time you can get the regalias is Pillar Creation anyway, is that right? Which is where the festival stuff would have ended. So it would kind of like naturally transition. Maybe that's fine. Maybe that would be good enough. Yeah, let's do it. Reward clothing. Lower realm versions of regalias. Simples. Now, another one that I thought would be really fun was stat pills. That would be awesome. Get rid of all this. We're not doing excitement anymore. And by the way, excitement I was playing with, and it just felt really clunky. It didn't feel like that much fun to have this extra layer you had to constantly manage. And it was just making it all a bit bloated. So I just cut it. And instead we just have a very simple, the crowd reacts to what you do, and it's just about placement. But it's all about the fights, you get some buffs, and no other things for now. We would like to have stories, but again, I'm not going to invest the time to build all of those, so we're not going to have any for the first version of the rework. Now, stat builds. Stat builds. What would they give? Maybe it's a pool where you can just get extra stats from it, and you can use up to 6 of them, and that's across all years. So you can grind them in body forging to be extra strong, or you can just ignore it all the way up to, so you can do it like 1 per realm. It would give a stronger incentive to win the tournaments. And you only get those if you win, potentially. Maybe we want to drag it down a little bit, because you see here the rewards are getting pretty front loaded on the champion. Rear loads, I guess, where we already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Potentially 8 rewards. Like, fitting those all visually in here is going to be a bit of a mess. But it would make you feel like you got a lot of stuff, which would be cool. Yeah. Let's do the stat pills. Stat pill. No, let's not do the stat pill. At least not right now. Let's remove the technique as well for now. Just let's keep the scope a little bit more manageable. So let's make our new talismans and our new festival clothing. We can start off with the festival clothing. That's just a scaled down version of regalia. And we need body forging. We need everything up to core formation. And we get this little preview of the optimization work I've been playing with. A rewrite of the combat system in Rust. As you can see, it is very readable. I'm sure that you'll all love having this to look through when you want to understand how combat works. And I'm sure that Grin will absolutely love having to edit this too. It is, however, very, very, very fast. So that is cool. But yeah, anyway, let's make some new stuff. First things first, clothing. So, Blood Master's Regalia gives us 7 blood. Well, technically 10 is the like value we're looking at. So that will be scaled down. I guess we can step it up in increments of 2. So the core formation one would give a max of 8, and then so on and so forth the way down. Any core formation needs an S tier. Maybe even go simpler. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Just a one-time, the first tournament you win, no matter what, gives you something. And you can't grind them out. I like that idea. Okay, right. Let's port this over. What should it be called? What should the pattern be? Maybe we say they're sashes? And we name it with the progenitor. Like, in this case, Rugong Sash 1, Rugong Sash 2, Rugong Sash... Yeah, let's do that. Rugong Sash. Oh, come on, let's just import it all. Rugong Sash. So, to save the sanity of myself, let's make a generator for this. Const make base item. Realm. Clothing item. Wait, no. Bracket. There we go. Okay, the base item will just take this stuff. Sashes will be clothing, so they will all have a 0.5 multiplier. We'll give them no secondary stats at all. They'll purely be school boost and school resource. Nice and simple. Charisma, we can just leave them as a 1 for each. Oh no, you're awesome, you won the tournament. These are going to be some snazzy things. They're going to make you look good. Rugong Sash. Realm to tier. Realm. And then we will get the same thing for the buff. And it will give... the base one will never have an upgrade key, so that keeps things that bit simple. Base one will always be empowered. Go on, see what you can make with a Rugong Sash. So it'll be realms.index of realm. So this will be 1 stack around at body forging 2, 3, 4. That's fine. And then we want to hit 8 for +2. No, maybe it's 2 plus? Wait, no. This +1, this +2. And then it'll be 7. Wait, no, 6 for the S rank one. Probably fine. And then we'll put a thing in to... What the hell is this? Okay, that is not a very good sash. Cloth sash. Red sash. Crimson sash. It's a sash. So yeah, maybe the base one is just you get 1, and then the next one is you get +1, and then it kind of like has that realm overlap. Nothing too exciting. Be fine. Because yeah, it's just decent. It's not crazy. Okay. Time to get web searching. Cloth sash. Maybe like this would be. This is what I want. Ultra wide suede sash, yes, or swede, however you pronounce that particular word. There we go. The true Rugong picture there. Let's see what that brings up. Oh, right, actually, this needs to be like 10, then it'd be 20 for the plus and 30 for the S. Make perfect item. 1.7. It's not quite doing it for me. And it's not far off. It'd probably be fine if it just cut this out properly. Let's generate another batch. Oh yeah, golden embroidery would be nice. Golden embroidery. The classic, just throw stuff at the wall and see if anything pops out that looks nice. Alright, so the perfect item will be essentially the base item plus 1 on the reinforcement. And resplendent as the tier. Yeah, something. I mean, we probably need a better image to base it off. That is not what I meant to click. Maybe like cloth belt would be better. Cloth waist sash. Something where there's a clearer image would probably be useful. I mean, it does look fancier, and that is quite nice. Maybe just like that would be more useful. Anyway, we have ourselves our perfect item and our make sublime item. But 9, 30, SS, ooh, and incandescent. That not how you spell incandescent? There we go. Ah, with an A. Yes. Okay, so we have our 3 tiers. We then want to generate the maps. Look at these. Ah, whatever. We'll fix the icons later. Right, assets. Item, clothing, blood, Master's Regalia. It's fine. So, I need to just quickly look up the format for generating something nicely. Do not have one. It'd be like the Sect Disciple robes? Yes, I want this jobby. I guess I should Realms map and then do that. Yeah, okay, that makes more sense. And we can just put that as a make base item. Export cons. Wait, no, it's these are Rugong sashes. Sashes, I guess. Rugong sashes plus clothing item equals realms dot map. Make perfect item and Rugong. There we go. Sashes. Make sublime item. Okay, so we have our 3 arrays. Now we need our 3 maps. Plus S plus S. No. Oh, sashes. Sashes, there we go. Okay, so there we go. We've got our 3 blocks. Maybe I'll just export all of these. All Rugong sashes. Sashes. Oh god, that word does not look real anymore. Combine them all into one map just to make it easier to import it elsewhere. Then we can import all of those into the clothing map. Cool, now this item is now available. It can be used. Have another shot. Maybe this one. Maybe this will give us a better image. A bit clearer on a white background. Once we've got one, we'll use that as the template for generating all the other images too. Or the other sashes for the other types. So, let us just quickly add that. Inventory, little current realm items, and let's have a look at what it looks like. What am I, body forging? Yeah. So here we can see, compared to say the vital plate, or I guess the jar plate plus, significantly less armor. The blood boost is very satisfying, and 3 stacks of blood reinforcement every round. Can't complain about that. You're going to make good value out of that one. Yeah, it's doing a terrible job. I might actually have to draw something. Ew. Or at least draw enough that it can build off it. We'll do that later. I don't fancy firing up my tablet right now. We just want to make cool gear. Well, you know, copies of our existing gear. So, we have Rugong. What's next on the list? Blossom, I'd say. Wait. Yeah, where's Blossom? Blossom Master Regalia. What do you do? Fatal Flora? No. Okay, that's an out. Let's pivot that over to being a Ooh, maybe actually... Yeah, maybe the blood reinforcement shouldn't be blood reinforcement. Maybe it should be blood reservoir. Will that break things? Quite possibly. Will it be fun? Most definitely. Let's give you 3 blood reservoir around. I'm sure you'll be able to do something fun with that. I'm sure someone will make some crazy build. Wait, it's 5 per. So let's make it mechanically the same. Maybe the multiplier is what scales. That way it kind of stays up. Let's do +1 times 3 and then times 4 times 5. Yeah. That way it is actually then distinct from the Bloodmaster's Regalia when we come to doing that. Times 4. We can start at higher too. Nah, let's just have the base multiplier. 5. Okay. So each round you'll get this lovely buff. And yeah, we'll try and keep each one actually distinct, so it doesn't feel samey. Oh, it's about to reload again, I think. There we go. You can tell when there's a ton of lag as it's compiling the changes in the background. Okay, so this is a item that gives you 10 blood reservoir each round. That's pretty solid, right? I would use that. I would use that, certainly. Helps you stack up on the crazy nuking you can do with blood. Maybe a bit too strong, actually, now I think about it. Let's preemptively nerf that. Let's take that down to 432. Wait, that's not a 4. 432. There we go. Okay. It's not a clean... By core formation, you can just maintain 6 blood corruption forever for free, and potentially a lot more. It's slightly below, not by much, just a teensy bit. Okay, first one's done. Now Blossom, let's make it build Fragrant. A little, oh, not what I want to do. Techniques. Keep our Fragrant up continuously. It's probably the cleanest resource builder that you can get. Because it's... The Blossom's Master Regalia gives you Fatal, doesn't it? Yes, it gives you Fatal. You can't be giving that one out for free. Okay, similar job as Rugong. Do Dongtiang Sash. Dongtiang. And the lower version of it. Dongtiang. Okay, so we also then want to replace Blood with Blossom. Blossom Reservoir. Okay, Fatal Flora. Not Fatal Flora. Fragrant Blossom. We'll add these. Now, how much Fragrant is sensible for a piece of gear? What's our ability to build it through techniques? We get 3 per technique. What we call a good builder would be 8. We also have a doubler, something that can build at 2. So maybe it should be 2 per realm. +1 for every round. It would be fair to build up to 10 by core formation S. Maybe 10 is quite solid, because then you can click things like the... Well, at 5 you can just click these without needing to build it the round before. Yeah, if we want to cap out at around 10, then we want to do something along the lines of maybe realm times 2 plus the like the, what's it called? The rarity. So yeah, let's do that. Let's do realms times 2 plus the number. Times 2. +1 plus 2. The S1 essentially is equivalent to the basic of the realm above. Nothing too crazy. But it's give you your constant passive build. Yeah, I think that's fine. Dong Yang Sashes. No, sorry, all Dong Tiang Sashes. Okay, next one down will be CE, Celestial Master's Regalia. That is just a fixed one. It builds sunlight if you have sunlight, moonlight if you have moonlight, just enhances. Maybe we could have it build attunements. Maybe at the start of your round, gain 1 celestial attunement if you have sunlight, and 1 lunar attunement if you have moonlight. I mean, it's pretty good. Would that actually be straight up better than building more sunlight and moonlight? Ooh, it's a good question, actually. Have a look at our celestial techniques. Especially in body forging, where you were building those, is actually kind of difficult. You don't have a good way to do it. It'd be very good in body forging. Good lord. Let's just do it. It would probably be extremely valuable, especially even in the higher realms, like at core formation. And I think this will be one that doesn't scale. Like, it's just the same value across all the realms. Just because otherwise it would get way too strong too fast. Probably. Celestial doesn't really have any small resource builders that you can put in, which is a bit of a shame. Okay, it's one of the things that makes Celestial feel more unique, but it does mean it's slightly more difficult to have items that do these things because they would stack too fast. Yeah, let's just make it as is. Be fine. Lu Bu Lin Satch. Lu Bu Lin. And then obviously, I should probably not that one. Do the smaller case. Oh, and of course, Blossom to Celestial. Okay, there's our base of our stuff. Let's also copy over the Celestial Master Regalia effect. And this one will be, if you have sunlight, gain 1. Solar attunement. If you have moonlight, gain 1. Lunar attunement. I'm going to buff self with solar attunement and lunar attunement. Yeah, it is strong. It is very strong. And it may be stronger than even the Regalia. So this one may not survive up until a release. It may get tweaked. But for now, let's go with that. It makes it slightly more unique, slightly different from the Regalia when we get there. All Lu-Bu Lin Sashes. Okay, now Cloudmaster's Regalia. This one can... Should it give Cloud? Or should it build a resource directly like Thunder? Or I guess Gale. I guess we can make it aggressive. It can just build Thunder constantly. Yeah. Why not? Dialgan? Dash. Dialgan. Let me do that. Dongtiang. Dialgan. Replace and Blossom with Cloud. Now this is one that will be a bit weird because we haven't had things that build... Oh no, we have had things. Okay, ignore me. It is not weird. We already have items that directly build storm aspects. So this is not that different. The question is, which storm aspect? Damage or defense? Damage is more fun. Thunder aspect. It is. How many should it be? Normally you're building like 3 to 4 rounds, so maybe it's just 1 per realm. Maybe 2 per realm. Without the plus. Oh wow, we do need to have the scalar. Maybe it's the same as the amount we do for Fragrant. It still hits damage. You'll be building like 10 around for the higher realms, which is a fair bit actually. Damage can scale quite quickly that way. Be fine. We all know that Cloud is the best school and it deserves to be more powerful than everything else, so I'll leave it like that. Why not? All Dialgan sashes. That puts us at 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 2 more. Fist and weapon. So, what is the fist one? It's probably just going to be build flow. You're not going to be complaining about that. So, do the same? We just don't build Ripple Force. It's just pure flow. Be fine, yeah. Let's go with just a nice flow builder. So again, copy this one. Ying Mei Hua Sash. Now again with Ying Mei Hua. Replace that one, and then replace Cloud with Fist. And Low. That's what we need. That one. How much should it give? 1 per realm. At the start of each round. Plus the bonus. Yeah, 1 each round is not great at body forging, but you can get it to be 2 a round, which is fine. It's certainly not something that's particularly exciting, but it does give you a fist boost as well. Then it gets just better at higher realms, yeah. All Melee Sashes, and the last one will be Teijinshi, the old weapon, and this is probably just going to be Metal Shards, if I had to guess. Yep, Metal Shards, and we'll just make it be the same as Fist. We probably want to be slightly higher than Fist, right? Yep, slightly higher. So doubling it would probably be too high. Let's do the same as Fragrant. We can at least keep the same numbers then. Jinshu Sash. This I just copied. What did I just copy? Gongtiang, yes. Brain is being slow. Jinshu. Gongtiang. Jinshu and Blossom to weapon. And then we replace our Fragrant weapon, the loveliest resource type, with Metal Shard. This one is very solid. And is a very strong piece of gear to get early. All Jinshu Sashes. Okay. So if you combine that clothing with the armor, you're probably actually going to be looking at some pretty powerful passive weapon damage. Just constantly ticking over and chipping down your enemies. So each one, we can just go for a fairly generic description across these. Probably the same one for every single one. A sash embroidered with a depiction of the life of a progenitor from the distant past. It's behind the details. It contains formations that provide the wearer with an enhanced affinity with the school, the progenitor once pioneered. There we go. It's good enough. Simple, to the point, doesn't require a ton of custom writing. That's the kind of stuff that I like. Gongtiang. People in. Rugong. This will, knowing that these are an option, it is going to have the sort of, I'd say, almost negative side effect of making people want to grinded out in the same realm to get them. And having to wait 6 years to have another go at getting the stuff for the school that you want could be frustrating. So that is something that we need to keep in mind if we want to potentially have a way to get them without having to wait 6 years. I don't know. A potential thing. Right, let's give ourselves all of those. And have a little look. Actually, you know what? Let's give ourselves all of them. Inventory. Add all the items. Let's see how it scales throughout the realms. So, body forging. The first time we can get it, we'll look at perfect only. 3 stacks of thunder around. Yep. 3 stacks of fragrant blossom around. 3 stacks of fragrant blossom around. Sunlight is gain solar and lunar continuously. You know what? Yes, we do have the... well, I can't filter by sash because I can't spell sash, apparently. Rugong, 6 blood reservoir around. That's essentially 1 free blood corruption. 3 metal shards. That's essentially a dancing sword permanently, just working. And 2 stacks of flow. A nice palm blast. So it's solid. Let's go to core formation, which will be the highest you can. Well, the highest you can currently festival fight to. We will have a 10 thunder around at the S, 10 fragrant around, and note we will have to add harmony upgrades for these to allow you to increase it further. This is the same, yeah, Lubelin, same. Rugong, 20 blood reservoir rounds. That is 4 blood corruption. Or just a bunch of, what's it called? Passive waiting to then fire off the detonate reservoir technique. 10 metal shards around. Very, very good. These are like really solid. I think these are pretty solid rewards for winning the tournaments. Definitely worthwhile. Okay. Let us make some talismans. So, maybe the fist one we should change to be triple force per round. Because we already have the regalia variant, which is flow per round. Yeah, blood, they're both very much catered towards stacking blood reservoir. Maybe the blood one should be not per damage, just blood reservoir, like 1 blood reservoir per blood corruption or something on those lines per round. So you can sort of like have this passive scaler. No, because we need a way to scale it up. So that the thing needs to get stronger per round. Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it? Okay, so talismans are always kind of annoying because for powerful effects, we don't tend to have a good way of having it work across realms. For these items, one of the things we need to keep in mind is the effect needs to be able to scale both through rarity and realm. So, for example, the fist, ripple force per round, that's just going to be way too strong because if we're going to have it be do something at body forging, it needs to be at least 1. And the perfect one needs to be better, so it needs to be at least 2 for perfect. Therefore, by core formation, with 4 rounds, maybe this is going to be like 5 or 6 ripple force per round, which is just way too high. That one needs to probably just be flow again. Maybe we just need to cut it back down again. Or have some other effect. Like, anytime you spend flow, gain a damage boost. Or... Maybe something that makes your deadly focus better? Yeah, actually that's not a bad idea. Like, power per deadly focus. Do we already have an item that does something on those lines? Get one set miss per deadly focus. Okay. Not bad. Okay, no. We don't have anything that does that. Okay, so let's have one that just makes your deadly focus better. So, gives you power per deadly focus. This will like that. Very nice. Power per mist. Blood. I like the idea of blood reservoir. No, sorry. I don't like the idea of blood reservoir per blood corruption because it means that we can't really scale it nicely. That one will need to be something else. The idea of large blood corruption gains for taking damage from blood corruption would be cool. It would probably be quite difficult to play around, but could be interesting. But I think maybe too technical for an item that you get that's supposed to be just like slottable quite nicely. So what else? What other options do we have? What are the techniques you have in body forging for blood? We have some sort of passive damager. You know, we could essentially have Profane Barrage as a talisman. Something that consumes blood corruption? Nah, I don't like that one. Defensive one? Let's just keep the technical one. Like, blood is very technical, and I'm sure there's going to be some like crazy stuff that people can do with something that allows you to build massive blood reservoir from taking blood corruption damage. Let's stick with that. It's a cool idea. Rotation gives stacking power. That one is very easy to scale. Fantastic. This one might be a bit problematic. Maybe we'll have two avenues for the scaling. We'll have it cost less shards, or maybe it can apply to more weapons as the realms go up. No. Maybe something like Let's say the base one does 1 temper, the Perfect does 2, the Sublime does 3, and then as the realms go up, you get a discount of shards, and that costs across all of the weapons you have. So let's say you have 5 weapons up, and let's say that we say the base cost is 3 per weapon, then it will mean that you... Actually, wait, what is the cost of doing it like with a technique? It's free. Ooh. So yeah, having a cost... Let's say it costs 3 per weapon. And then each realm you get a discount of 1. And that can take it to 0 if you only have 1 weapon. Or if you have like 5 or 6 weapons, it would be a flat discount after the multiplier. Yeah. How would we write that? Actually, we don't need... Do we need to write that? We do need to write that. Okay, no. Vetoing that idea, it would be too difficult to represent in a tooltip. So, what else could it be? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm drawing a blank. Yeah, I guess we could. Each time you consume a metal shard, gain a barrier of X. It would give you some solid defensive scaling. Let's do that, yes. Each time you consume a shard, gain X barrier. And then we scale the barrier and... well, we scale the barrier amount by both the realm and the rarity. So it just changes the multiplier, essentially. Well, Shard Cannon doesn't consume shards. Well, it consumes like 2 shards. It mainly consumes fragments, which don't get turned into shards. I think it just consumes one shard around, yeah. But yeah, that's not the right screen. If you do like each time you consume a shard, it'll be like for each one you consume. So if you consume 20 a technique. Oh, yeah, the dart spray. Yes, you can then burst a shield out of it. Yeah. We'll make sure it works with that. That'd be cool. Okay, so that's a bit more solid. Rot per realm per round. Yep, that's fine. We can just have it be essentially +1 rot for each rarity tier and also per realm. So you essentially get an effect up to 2 realms above. And that'd be very strong, actually, eventually. That's all of them, right? Yeah. Okay. Let's build. So, starting off with Cloud, it's the top of our list. And again, we'll just be lazy with the naming. Well, let me save that. We'll just call it... yeah, Dialgan... Seal? Sigil? Symbol? Insignia. There we go, that's a cool name. Dialgan Insignia. Okay. Back to our lovely realm builders. I was thinking, should we give it boost as well, and then we don't have to be as specific with the effects? Maybe it does this, and sorry, maybe this is the effect, and we don't need to scale it per rarity. The rarity increases a flat boost value that's also on the talisman. That maybe is like half the Vow Talisman's variant. It sits at... what's it sit at? Where's the actual number? That's 10 per realm. So we can do it 5 per realm. Wait, no, not 5 per realm. Maybe it's 10, 20, 30. Yeah, let's do that. That does mean we don't need to be as... we don't have to have so many overlaps in the stuff. In the whatchamacallit. My brain is completely failing to process any words. Let's see a similar pattern here, but obviously converted to be a talisman. Talisman item. You are a talisman. Combat stats? Yep, there we go. This is a cloud boost 10. Dialgan insignia. And let's keep it insignia engraved. Cool. Copy the text. Easy peasy. And the effect will be... What will the effect be? Power per mist. So no on-round effects at all. Stats will be power value 0.01. So we'll stick with 1% per mist. Would that be too high? I think it'd be not super high. That's probably fine. The scale of power and scaling is mist aspect name. Maybe this should be a 0.5, 1.5. Wait, sorry, this is supposed to be scaling per realm. Not per so maybe let's do 1%. And we'll just give it a max, like I was originally planning to do. Or maybe we do it higher, maybe we do it 3% each, and then the max is what stops it being overpowered. Up to something like 100 stacks per realm. Would that be too high? 50 stacks per realm? That'd be 0.5. Sorry, 50% per realm. 50% isn't that high, so maybe it's 100% per realm. Let's just do that. Times realms dot index of realm. That power. Okay, so you can get 3% power per mist up to 100%, 200%, 300%, 400%. That feels a bit strong. Maybe we drop it to 2%. And we can harmony to upgrade that. Right, let's see if it can do a better job of generating an icon for a talisman. It should be able to. They are a little bit more generic, you could say, in some fashions. They are just simpler in concept. The plus version, the only difference will be we increase the cloud boost. And of course, resplendent. Yeah. Whatever. It's fine. It doesn't need to be too fancy. The S version gets 30 and everything else same. Then we replace the icons with icon assets. Make that incandescent. And we have ourselves a set of items. So again, we will just use this pattern here for the insignias, and then we'll check how it looks. Xiao Yan insignias. Pop those all through. And then pop it into the talismans list. Okay. We should have ourselves a lovely set of stuff now. Once the game reloads. There we go. And let's add our new items. Plus 2% per miss up to a maximum of 900% seems thoroughly, beautifully strong at soul transference. Okay, so we have 2% per miss up to a maximum of 100. And 30% cloud boost. Well, okay, we can't get that one in body forging, of course. You can get this one at max. Which is better than this one. Yes, it is better in body forging than the vow, if you can win the tournament. It's then equal to the vow. Well, it is better because you're no longer restricted, and of course you have the extra effect if you want to go mist. Yeah, I think that's a pretty solid item. It is obviously very restrictive because it's forcing you to play mist. But that's also fine because we want to have benefits to playing the different aspects. And then we can continue. So, what's the next one down the list? Power per deadly focus. Nice and simple. Deadly focus, let me just check that one. That is capped on... Is it just capped on effect or is it capped on stats? It is capped on effect. Okay, so we will have to put a max on this one as well. That stops people from just scaling forever. So we can just copy this one to be the Ying Mei Hua Insignia. Ying Mei Hua. Again, do these ones, and then cloud with this. And this is going to give us just power. Deadly focus .name. So 1% for deadly focus. Well, we give 2% per mist. Maybe 3%. Deadly focus I feel like is easier to build than mist. No, I'm completely wrong on that. Mist is easier to build, so the scaling of deadly focus should be higher. Up to 100%. We'll keep the same scaling. Yeah. The same caps. It just gets there faster if you can build enough deadly focus. Very simple. And let us update this icon. Let's see if it's going to make a... Well, we need like a golden talisman. Oh, I am tired. We probably will just put the Ingmewa in, look at what it looks like in game, and then call it there. That is a cool looking talisman for like a Jade Serpent item. I don't have a place to use it, but that's a cool one there. I like that. That's also cool. Some cool Jade Serpent gear maybe coming. Something a little bit fancy. I like that one. That one's cool. Yeah, let's use this. Let's add it to our talismans list. And then let's look at it in game. Got all of our items now, and oh, let's go down to like sensible realms first. Here we go. 3% for deadly focus up to a maximum of 100%. That is going to be pretty cool. And then, yeah, the cap can get quite silly. A core formation, you can build up to 400% if you so desire. That could be an alternative build to the old True Ripple. I mean, True Ripple only stacks up to 300%. There is 5% per stack, and there is a lot more stacks of Ripple Force. Transcendent Focus only caps at 90%, and is 1% for Deadly Focus. I think maybe 3% is too high, and let's nerf both. Let's put these at 1% each. It's a passive stacker, not a crazy high limit, and let's make it 50% per realm. There we go, it's probably a little bit more reasonable. Do it the same to the Deadly Focus. It is 1%. We put it the same as the Mist one. There we go. Hopefully this is a bit more... doesn't completely outshine Transcendent Focus, because that is a bit silly. Go on, game. Reload yourself. Here we go. No, items, not techniques. Okay, so at core formation, we have ourselves up to maximum 200%. Like, it's still really good if you can stack Deadly Focus. And we have our 1% per mist. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I think that's pretty awesome. So, what we'll be doing, what I'll be doing after this, probably tomorrow to be honest, but be building the rest of the talismans. Then we will and their recipes, and adding them to here, to the brackets, making it a bit more exciting to win the tournaments, and then having some sort of fallout somewhere that lets you get the items you missed. Some alternative tournament. Maybe we just add it as a reward you get from beating the echoes if you miss out. That'd do the trick as well. But yes, I think we'll leave it there. So thank you all for joining me once again. I hope you enjoyed the little preview of the tournaments and where they're going. I'll be working hard on getting these up, because this is going to be a pretty solid change to all the tournament stuff. And of course, this is just the one-on-one, like single elimination variant of tournaments. We do want to have other ones, like a points-based kind of one for the alchemy tournaments, and like a hunting one. Some variations. We'll see how it goes, how it comes together. But yeah, with that, thank you all. Have a fantastic day, and catch you next time. Bye bye.